Mickey Cavill. This guy again. Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man, and today we are talking Star Wars Phantom Menace. I'm here with Lantern, my resident Star Wars expert. Obviously, I've watched Star Wars. Oh, wow. I was like, what is that? Obviously, ooh, have I got myself on another channel? No, I think not. Okay, good. Obviously, this is my first time watching one of the prequels, fully, and I haven't watched. This is my second Star Wars movie. Basically, I've watched since I was 8 years old, and I literally didn't remember any of it. So I was fairly impressed because I watched the New Hope. Was it the New Hope first?
Yeah, episode 4, New Hope. Yep.
Yeah, episode 4, the New Hope. I watched first. Go back and see that episode. That was a pretty cool episode where we talked a lot about they were basically educating me on the Star Wars universe. It's fairly entertaining. And I was quite impressed by that, but I didn't feel this has made me a Star Wars fan. This one I liked a lot better. And I don't understand why this has got such bad reviews. It's crazy to me. I think it's a pretty solid movie. And I've got I don't know if this is a hot take, but I like the little Anakin. I think he's a better hero than Luke.
Oh yeah, you could get a lot of hot water for that, but I can't really disagree that much, honestly.
Is that a hot take, or I don't know?
Big hot take because that little actor that played Anakin, his life was destroyed because of how many people trashed him after this movie. It's pretty sad what happened to Jake Lloyd. Yeah. Because they just hated Anakin. They hated this little kid actor,
Oh my God, really?
They kept doing that over and over. Yeah, they wrecked this kid's life because he was in this movie.
Wow, really?
Yeah, Star Wars fans fucked up.
That's terrible. I mean, he's just a child, dude. All right, look, he wasn't amazing in the role. Actor. He wasn't the best actor, but he had a purity and innocence to him that I believed, and
he acted like a kid that age. You know what I'm saying? George Lucas specifically cast him because he came off as a guy a kid who didn't know how to act. And that's what George Lucas was looking for. He wanted something more real,
more authentic. More authentic. So was he? Because that's what I wanted to go into, which is why did everyone hate this movie at the time? Because I can't really see it. I'd be pretty happy if I was a Star Wars fan after watching this first movie. I don't know if the prequels get worse, because obviously this got a sequel, so it must have done quite well, and somebody must have enjoyed it.
Look at the box office. I mean, it did pretty well for George Lucas there. And that's the basic thing about the prequels, though. These are George Lucas's fucking movies here. This is not a studio movie. You know what I'm saying? This is a one man's vision, from beginning to end. Nothing interfering with that. You know what I'm saying? It's incredible what he was able to do, really.
Star Wars Phantom Menace made 1.27 billion US dollars. 1.027 billion dollars altogether, which is a huge haul for that time.
It was the most anticipated movie when it was coming out. The most anticipated movie of all time when it was coming out. You go back and watch people walking out of the film. Half of them loved it. You know what I'm saying? The other half wanted to get an apology from George Lucas. A lot of people felt betrayed because it's not what they were expecting.
So what were people expecting? I mean, you give me a kind of a rough education on what you think people were expecting from this movie.
I don't know, because Nope, not many people knew what the lore was of Star Wars before Episode 4. I mean, most people knew that Darth Vader was on a lava planet, and that's how he got into his suit. That's what most people knew about Darth Vader's backstory. He's Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker's father. He got burned on a lava planet fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's all they knew about Anakin Skywalker in his journey. So who knows what they were expecting? They knew how it was going to end with Episode 3, but they didn't know what the beginning or middle was. They didn't know anything about that. It was all, headcanon really up to that point.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, so the metachlorines and all of the reasons that they have the Force, none of that was known first. Okay, that's interesting. I did not know that. I thought that was something that was talked about. So I'm going to share some fan reactions to the from 1999. We can react together to because again, what do you think of this movie? I mean, I'm curious as to your opinion of it.
I like it a lot. It's not my favorite of the prequels. I think my favorite's Revenge of the Sith, just because of how down that ending is. That's a really dark movie when you think about it. But I like this movie a lot when it first came out. I watched it when I was like 8. Something like that, and I liked Jar Jar Binks. With a kid, it was silly. I could identify with Anakin because I was around the same age. So it's I don't know. I like the pod racing. I thought the pod race was fucking cool. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever was watching that pod race, and all the amazing angles and editing. I thought it was great. But watch how crazy people are about this movie.
we're going to get into all the pod race. We're going to get into Jar Jar Binks. We're going to get into why I believe that Anakin is a better hero than Luke Skywalker. So those are the topics, I think. What else was controversial about it? Obviously, we could talk about the different performances and actors in it. But I think, what you mentioned are the main things that is why I like the movie. So we can get into all of that. So let me make sure I've got the sound here.
Yeah, people were out of their minds with this movie. Out of their minds. They went to other movies just to see the trailer for this movie. Okay, crazy shit. Anyway,
This is a huge deal for me. I was sick from school today.
I want to be the guy coming out of the theater going, it was great. That's who I want to be.
I thought there was going to be people here already, and it turned out there wasn't being. I was like, wow, I'm the first one.
Well, it's Star Wars. It's like the original trilogy was just so phenomenal. People have been awaiting this for 16 years.
It's grabbing, going, and becoming part of giving a story to our children.
It's going to be one of the
many is this a reaction
wonders
to?
of the world. There are now 8 wonders of the world. One of them being this movie.
We've been waiting since it came out.
They're literally camping outside.
So this is. We've been waiting a long time.
Let's see.
It was everything I thought it was going to be and more.
Good, dude. It was really good.
So worth it. So worth it.
They're going to love it. They're going to go nuts. It was amazing.
I couldn't get enough of it. I want to see it again.
It was amazing. It was everything I thought it was going to be and more.
Non-stop. Non-stop.
I can't wait to see it in 3 hours. It'll be lining up straight in the line again.
A lot of action, a lot of noise. It was cool.
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it was really good, must say. I think it's going to be the hugest thing. The hugest thing.
It was intense. It was incredible.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense people really liked it.
It was awesome.
Yeah. We got tickets for the 9 a.m. show. We're going to stick around and see it again.
I thought it was better than Return of the Jedi, personally. So, did a good job.
I like the special effects. I thought Lucas did a really good job.
I think that little Anakin Skywalker, and everyone's going to say it, stole that movie.
Thumbs up or thumbs up?
God, I'd put my feet up if I could.
It's fantastic. Good special effects, good story. Lives up to the originals.
A very good movie. I believe the kids are going to love it.
It is worth every minute of it. We've waited 16 years for this moment. An unbiased opinion, how's the film?
I'd give it a definite thumbs up.
Just like,
of course he's gonna like it.
So most of these guys like it. I'm kind of trying to look for some of the bad reactions.
I've seen a couple of videos of people walking out and they're like, I didn't like it. There's a couple of them. But like that was the overwhelming reaction. With like it was a big hit, made a lot of money. Lots of people liked it walking out. I didn't know people hated this movie until the internet came around. You know what I'm saying? Like until people got on their community forums and started.
So
one
thing I wanted to ask you about then is, are you aware of what the Phantom Menace is? The group, the Phantom Menace, and what makes them controversial? Why are they people who love the Fandom Menace? Pardon me.
That's what
are they people who love the prequels, or they hate the prequels, or what?
Pretty sure they hate the prequels. I'm pretty sure they hate the prequels, and they hate the sequels. They're like OG Star Wars fans. It feels like, but it doesn't really feel like they're that big of Star Wars fans anyway. They say the Phantom Menace because they're against the feminism. Is that how you say it? Yeah, feminism.
Anti-feminist.
Yeah, that's
right. I see.
Yeah.
All right. I see. Yeah, the whole Mary Sue kind of things like that, which is always funny to me because, like, honestly, I don't like those kind of characters either. Like, Captain Marvel, but like they never complain when like fucking Iron Man for me is one of the most OP fucking characters of life. Right. I mean, if you look at what he does, it makes no fucking sense. Like like the amount of things he's been able to do, beat the Hulk, snap the what's it called? People would lose their minds if Captain Marvel had have done that snap. And she should be capable of doing that snap. But nobody says anything when Tony Stark does it easier than the Hulk. Right, and there's loads of like coming up with time travel in fucking an afternoon. Like this guy is OP when it comes to and there's other characters like that where I'm just like nobody complains about it if it's a man who's super fucking OP. Yeah.
But then they started to complain about the Phantom Menace because Anakin was a lot like that. He is kind of like a perfect child that can do amazing things. He can destroy entire battle stations and stuff at the age of like 10, say 8, or however.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, which is another thing. So was there as big backlash against him as there was Rey because he was doing crazy shit? He just blew up a ship, learned to fly a spaceship just from being a pod racer. It seemed
there was a huge backlash. I mean, that little kid's life was like ruined. Jake Lloyd, look into it. There's some fan documentaries about it and stuff. It like he never recovered from this movie. Like he tried to be in other movies and it just never worked out for him. Yes, there it is. It's right there. Right when you typed in Lloyd. Yeah. And the same thing happened to the guy who played Jar Jar Binks. He was a black actor. And he was, he really struggled to get work later on because of this movie.
And then 20 seconds of knowledge. Now, Richie Jake Lloyd from Phantom Menace, he hasn't done a lot of interviews over the last 5 or 6 years, and yours was kind of awkward.
It was very awkward. Have a look at this.
You're a Jedi Knight, aren't you?
What makes it?
I saw your laser sword. Only Jedis carry that kind of weapon.
Perhaps I killed a Jedi and took it from him.
Liam Neeson does great, by the way.
I don't think so. No one can kill a Jedi.
I thought this kid was so fucking good in this movie, and I love the characterization of him as well. He was the pure noble hero, and you know how I like my Superman archetype, right?
I think you're gonna love this prequel trilogy, man. I think you're gonna love it because it starts out like that, Anakin Skywalker is really the chosen one, and it's like the way the Jedi are set up and like their beliefs. That's what kind of drives Anakin to do what he does later in the series.
And it's always been my criticism, as I said, of even Zack Snyder, right? Like, you know, you start with the heroic version and then you bring them down. It's like that's me. Maybe people would hate my versions of these movies as well if I had the chance to do Superman, because I would want to explore an evil Superman as well, but I would want him to start from the hopeful character and then, you know, like whatever like drags him down. So this is like, for me, perfect. Now, what I liked about him much more than Luke was actually reluctant. He's supposed to be an aspirational hero too. I take it.
He doesn't want to go.
Yeah. And he doesn't want to go in the beginning. He's like, I want to stay on the farm with my family, and I'm just going to take you this far, and then I'm going to come back. He doesn't want to help, you know, like save the what do they call it? What do they call the whole thing? Like
the Death Star?
He doesn't.
Oh,
No, like the universe or whatever. He doesn't want to go out and help, like, you know, the Federation or whatever it is,
the rebels,
which is what Obi-Wan Kenobi is, you know, is trying to guide him to do, because he can see his potential. But Luke is just like, nah, you know, I'd rather stick around. I think Luke should have been more gung-ho about, like, you know, I want to do this. And I loved it, because the thing was, I was like, you know, in this film, when, you know, you see, is it Qui-Gon? Qui-Gon?
Yeah.
When Qui-Gon Jinn basically barters for to free them from slavery, to free both Anakin and his mother from slavery, he obviously just gets Anakin, and his mother has to stay, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, when Anakin was like, oh, I'm just gonna go and I'm happy to go, I was like, oh no, they're not gonna do that. And then he did it. He said, no, isn't mother coming with me? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the hero. That's the guy. He's always on the right side. He's always, you know, he's always led by his heart, always wants to do the right thing. And he's like, I'm coming back for you, mother. And I thought, all right, I'm sold on this character now. So I really love him. You know, I wish he wasn't turning into Darth Vader now. I feel like he should have been Luke. This should have been the original guy. That's why I was...
Yeah, honestly, like that kind of stuff, like, it's gonna come up again later in these movies. I think you're gonna really like those moments, because a lot of people tend to focus on some of the stuff that really doesn't matter in these movies, like Jar Jar Binks. You know, I would say, like, why is he so goofy? Well, it's because he's like an insignificant character, and like he doesn't really matter that much to the story. He's just there for comedic relief for like kids in the audience. I mean, that's the real story that's going on is with Anakin, right? Jar Jar Binks actually comes up later in the movies, and he actually makes a really, like, you know, pivotal moment for like the Star Wars universe. Like, he allows the Emperor control of the whole entire Senate and stuff like that. You know, so George Lucas is doing what he did with Yoda for like Jar Jar Binks, right? Because Yoda was this insignificant character at first, doesn't really mean anything, and then he becomes like the big deal. And he was trying to do that with Jar Jar Binks, but that's like what people focus on is Jar Jar Binks out of this fucking movie. They don't focus on Anakin's journey as much. And in the second movie, they focus on the fucking love relationship between him and Padme, because it's like so awkward, kind of, because he's a Jedi that has never been with a woman in his life. Like his, so there's a reason why it's awkward. But you know, people look over that. You know, they're just like, oh, this is awkward, and then like this is bad. But it's like there's reasons for why things are happening. I mean, George Lucas really thought through all this. He spent like a decade writing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I really liked about it as well? I'm going to say this. I love the kind of directing. I love the way he followed, you know, the style basically of his early movies, right? Like, you know, that it would have those edits where like between scenes you know, like it does the slide. What do they call that? Like a slide cut? Right?
So it's transition.
A slide transition or something like that. I thought that was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that actually, because you know, so many times they forget the roots of the films, right? Like, and go more for a modern editing styles, right? I guess the new movies don't do that anymore, right?
I think the new movies do keep a tradition with that. But that was an amazing thing with George Lucas is when this movie came out like 1998, right? Something like that. And at that time, there was no like editing software that normal people could use on computers at all. George Lucas invented that. He made editing software like readily available for people, like Windows Movie Maker. Do you remember that? Like that was like George Lucas's like idea. You know what I'm saying? To put editing software in the hands of like normal people, so they don't have to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, the movie was really revolutionary as special effects and stuff like that. A lot of things you see today come from Phantom Menace, really. Yeah.
No, I think it is as well. I mean, I really like, I mean, I thought it was just a fundamentally really fun movie. It had some great action set pieces.
I think it is too.
I'm truly at a loss. Kind of explain it. This movie so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I mean, you're cutting in and out right there. I don't know if it was just my end though. I don't know.
Oh no, it's because I'm doing. Carry on for just one moment, and then I'll again.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you're saying
putting
about
it up on Twitter.
The fundamentals of the movie are there for sure. Like I totally agree with that. And it's funny when you watch the behind the scenes of this movie, which is like an hour and a half documentary. Like that's an amazing documentary. But you need to watch. You see the movies, so you can actually watch the documentary about the Phantom Menace now, which is on YouTube. Anyone can watch it. It's amazing what they do with this movie. And there's a shot of George Lucas watching the final, his assembly cut or his pre-edit before they edit it down to theatrical, right? And there's moments where he's saying, "I think I went too far here." He knows what a movie needs and what needs to be cut out, right? And I like what you said. It's fundamentally good, you know what I'm saying? Because he knew he was going too far in areas. He cut it down, he's trying to streamline ideas and stuff like that, not give the audience too much that they can't handle. And, people walked out of the movie happy. It wasn't until internet comes along that people have this vitriol hatred to the movie.
It's very strange to me. I think it's just to satisfy, especially as someone who knows nothing about Star Wars. This is by far. I have watched The Force Awakens. I don't remember much about it because I was just in and out, when you're not watching something properly, right? But I do. This one captured my attention immediately. I think the first time I tried to watch it as an adult was Christmas a couple of years ago, and somebody had the bright idea of making me watch the second episode of the prequel and just skip this one. And I was just lost, so I fell asleep about halfway through, and it just didn't make any sense to me. But what I was trying to remember the point I was just trying to make earlier. It was it about this kid? I'm trying to think. All right, let's see what Charles says. No, man. What do you think of the
prequels? Yeah, here's what he's trying to say.
Prequels. Oh, I've only seen the Phantom Menace. I'm going to be doing the second part next Sunday, where I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do The Empire Strikes Back or I'm going to do the second prequel. I think I might save. I think I might save The Empire Strikes Back for one.
Yeah, dude. I highly recommend watching episode 2 and then watching Empire Strikes Back and then coming back and watching Revenge of the Sith. I think that's the toughest order to watch the movies in. But as you notice, something he mentioned the good fights in episode 1. What a fucking difference 20 years makes on special effects and fight choreography, dude, right?
I love
comparing to Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader in episode 4, which is nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're like this, and now you got Darth Maul doing flips, and it's this huge epic action scene. They're actually, that's real time. They don't speed up the frames. That's them actually moving that fast. It's incredible. You don't see stuff like that not even today, you don't see choreography like that tight, you know, and the actual actors doing it. For the most part.
that was again, that action scene was thrilling. By the way, I have to shout out to Liam Neeson. I thought he was my favorite actor in the whole film. What a great performance. And I think what I was saying about, I think I already said this, but like I thought his relationship with the kid, they had great chemistry together. And you know, I didn't mind. Look, was the kid a great actor? No, but he was a great Anakin. He had that innocence about him that made him a compelling character. Now, you said there was some controversy surrounding Jar Jar Binks as well.
Yeah,
there was a lot. I was gonna put down a note just saying this is when SJW-ism began. Basically, like social justice warriors criticizing movies, because it's like, why would you assume that guy's black or that race is black or anything like that? They're just fun characters. And plus, there was like this big-nosed, other like bartering character who was like the guy,
like a Jew, big nosed Jew.
Exactly.
That's what people. That's what their minds go to, right? And like. George Lucas don't got a racist bone in his body. Look at the fucking work this man's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. But yeah, people would say like the aliens that the Federation aliens that are attacking the planet at the beginning, they have those Asian accents. So you know, like George Lucas is trying to make a point. You know, like Chinese economy taking over the world. It was a little ahead of its time, but it's kind of true. You know what I'm saying? Like.
But I think it's just giving the aliens character, you know, it's giving the different species character. So you get like one race to do this and another race to do that. That doesn't mean he's actually trying to say they're black or he's actually trying to say they're like Asian or Jewish. So I just thought, again, it's just like that is the SJW kind of criticism. Right, because I've always heard about this Jar Jar Binks. I knew about Jar Jar Binks even though I'd never seen Star Wars before. And I watched it, and no, he's not my favorite character in the film, but he's a fun little character. You know, he's just a entertaining, goofy comic relief.
Yeah, because without him, you have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. Like, and you know, it's kind of stale. They're Jedis. They're not like they don't have tons of emotions. You know what I'm saying? So. I get why you paired them with that character for that first half of the movie. I
could have done without him. Like, I'll be honest. I could have definitely done without him, but he didn't. It wasn't something like that was specifically offensive to me. I just thought it adds character. It adds like a different alien race, and they're not like Star Trek alien races where they're all serious. These are like fun alien races where it just adds a little bit of character to the whole kind of world that they're building. What else did I want to talk about? Let's see this, because there was something I was just saying before and then I've completely forgotten it. No, when you told me I was cutting off and I can't remember what it was, but it was important. But anyway,
we were talking about the filmmaking of the movie and stuff like that, and then it started cutting off. So I don't know if that helps. I don't know if it helps.
I know I talked about the editing, like the slide editing, and whether they did that. Whether they did that in the new movies, and then I can't remember. There was something I was going to go into. About these movies, but about it being George Lucas's own vision, and I felt that this was almost more what he wanted to achieve than even the New Hope was. This was him after having experience as a director and having he has much more of a hold on what this universe is now. So it seemed more, it was one person's vision. Whereas the Star Wars, from what I remember of the Force Awakens, I just felt it was like more fan service, studio, very slick. I enjoyed it for the most part, but again, I don't remember a damn thing about it. I'm gonna watch it after all of these, so get ready for my opinions when it comes to the new movies. You might as well say I didn't watch The Force Awakens, because I literally just like watched it like kind of half into it, half out of it, and I was like, yeah, this is my favorite Star Wars so far, because I'd only watched the early ones, and I don't think he was quite there yet with the early ones, especially after watching this one. I'm just like,
he only directed Episode 4, New Hope. That was the only Star Wars movie he directed before the prequels, right? Like, he got other directors to come on, direct Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But he was still like, the main executive. He was always on set and stuff like that, and writing constantly and stuff like that. He was the main guy, but still he had other directors come in and do his work. But with the prequels,
wow, I didn't know that.
The prequels, he wanted to direct, mainly because he couldn't convince anybody else to do the prequels. Like, he tried to convince Steven Spielberg to make this movie, which probably would have been dope. Like,
that would have been dope.
George Lucas's ideas with Steven Spielberg's direction, like, that would have been crazy. But he turned down.
It's very Spielbergian as well. It really is. So yeah, that would have been an interesting choice for that. So let me go to some of these comments here. So the original trilogy has more emotion with the fights. It's all about and I felt when Qui-Gon Jinn, sorry, what is it?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn. I felt
very
like
Asian, isn't it? Very Asian.
Yeah. I felt when he died, man. I was like, dude, and it's interesting that they mentioned of the little boy as well, that Obi-Wan was reluctant to train him because he could see something in him, much like Yoda could, that this boy still has fear of losing his mother, the thing that can take you over to the dark side. So that was really intriguing as well. So I want to see where they go with that. Maul is about Darth Maul. Have to talk about Darth Maul. I thought he was a badass. You're right. The action scenes were amazing with him.
He was a stunt performer too. Like, he wasn't, that guy is the same guy that was in X-Men 1. He played the frog dude in X-Men 1 with the ton and stuff.
Oh no, really? What a waste!
I know.
What a waste of a good.
He's not a great actor, but he's like, as far as like body acting, you know what I'm saying? Like actual choreography, he's great. But yeah, Darth Maul, he always there for that fight because he's not the Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace is the guy in the black hood sending Maul to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the Phantom Menace.
Apparently little Anakin actually did end up turning to the dark side in real life. So he went to jail and does drugs. I think that's a good segue into looking at this interview and what does he actually have to say about his experience.
This guest from a galaxy far, far away, Jake Lloyd, aka Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it. I'm sorry.
Now, what have you been up to? The movie came out 99, was it?
Yeah.
So it's been 10 years.
Yeah, and I've been in school the entire time. So.
What are you studying?
Right now I'm studying film and psychology.
Okay. So is the acting career over? What's the plan with all that?
It seems to be relatively over. I quit acting about years ago, so I think that's pretty well and behind me, and editing seems to be where I'm heading next.
Okay, now a decade ago, it was a big deal. Phantom Menace was coming out. You were cast in this thing. It was a bit mysterious. Did you know how big a deal it was at the time?
Yeah, it was hard not to know how big of a deal it was.
And you would have seen a lot of the world, a lot of red carpet.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that like back in the day?
It was cool. It was red carpet. I'm not a big fan of cameras anymore, but it's awesome. It was fun.
Have you still got all the paraphernalia, your little figurines? Have you kept all the merchandise?
No.
You shunned it a bit?
No. I just didn't keep the merchandise.
And what about with the ladies? Do you get recognized a lot? Has it helped being the young Anakin?
I don't think pulling the Force card would be a really good idea with the ladies.
What do you use, the editing card?
Yeah, I always use the editing card.
Wow. He's angry, bro.
Yeah, man.
He's fucking angry, right? Like, Jesus
yeah, imagine how much
Christ.
shit he got. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much shit he got at school. You know what I'm saying? People picking on him and shit like that. Internet constantly trolling you for 10 years.
The sarcasm in his voice.
Yeah.
The sarcasm in his voice. He was like, yeah, I used the editing card. The guy was asking really obnoxious questions, though. Is your acting career over and stuff like that? I mean, come on, dude.
Clearly knows it's over.
Like,
he hasn't acted since he was a kid. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, it's a dick thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really dick thing to say. And like the funny thing for me is that again, he was one of the standout performers. And you know, kids, if you go back and look at like certain great actors now, or actors who have become really good actors, you know, and you look at their child performances, they weren't always that good, you know. So it's kind of strange to me that they picked on this kid so much. And you said it yourself, like he was the real heart of this film, and I thought it was a really sweet film, mainly because of him in it. Now, the best scenes in this movie, we'll go on to watch a little bit more of if he has anything else to say. But since we're on this podcast, the pod race scene, I thought that was an excellent action set piece, man. You mentioned it before.
Yeah, I think it's like the highlight of the movie. It's definitely that and the mall fight are like the two big like the movie really. And George Lucas, funny enough, really into cars, really into racing scenes. Like his first documentary was about a race, and the same shots in that documentary you could see in this pod race here. So it's really, you know, he wanted to do what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's what disappointed people too, is that like they were expecting like some, you know, New Hope level, you know, thing, and they got a pod race, and they don't know what a pod race is. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a bunch of new stuff the movie's got to explain to you, but I don't know. I don't know why people didn't like it, because like that alone, the editing, the sound design, you know, with the engines and stuff, it's a great,
it was great design on it was a great design on the actual vehicles themselves. They were very kind of imaginative the way that they kind of worked. So I thought that was all really cool, and I thought it like developed him as a character, what his skill sets are, and you know, obviously, even though it is a bit ridiculous that this 10-year-old kid was able to do all of that stuff at the end. At least it set it up. Sorry, go on.
And he uses, like, in the pod race, it's like the first time he uses the force is to, you know, like connect something to fix his pod car, or whatever you want to call it. But like it mirrors A New Hope in a way when Luke has to use the force to shoot at the Death Star, right? It's almost similar to that. Of course, you get an exact moment that's the same as that when Anakin destroys the battle station that looks like a Death Star. You know, it's like things like George Lucas said famously in this documentary, The Phantom Menace, that he wanted the prequels to rhyme with the original trilogy. And when you watch the prequels, a lot of things like are definitely rhyming with that. You know what I'm saying?
All right,
it's pretty great.
So let me ask you this question: Luke in The New Hope versus Anakin in this movie, The Phantom Menace, who would you say is the better character?
I like Anakin more. Luke is very whiny in A New Hope. He's like, I want to get some power converters. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was some bullshit in the beginning. Like, he wants to go hang out with his friends. He doesn't want to do farm work. It's very whiny. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He was really whiny. He only really became a very heroic, and even his motivation for wanting to save the princess was, oh, she's hot, right? Like it wasn't like because he just had this noble desire to like save her. He was like, oh, she's hot, and then who is she, and then like he wants to save her. So I didn't feel like I always thought that Luke was supposed to be like the really good noble character versus
he becomes that.
But I don't see, for me, I always like when those characters start off like that. rather than the other way around, and it didn't contrast enough with Han Solo. I felt like they were like cardboard cutout characters. It was like he's the basic archetype of the hero, and then Han Solo was like the basic archetype of the the kind of anti-hero, almost like he's doing it for his own self-gain, but there wasn't much more levels to them, whereas I feel like this one introduced a lot more levels to these characters. I think maybe because the performances were better as well in this movie.
When you look at Episode 4, New Hope, like George Lucas was making that movie independently as well. And, he went to the studios for help, but even the studios didn't believe in the film, so they allowed George Lucas to have like all the toy merchandise rights, sequel rights. They didn't think the movie was going to be anything. It had a lot of problems on set, like actual like stuff. It got destroyed and stuff like that because of weather. But
yeah. So his whole life got ruined by the Star Wars fans. He was bullied at school, and every time he went, kids would annoy him.
Yeah, now you know why he's fucking annoyed in this interview. Now you know, that's exactly why he's annoyed in that interview. Yeah.
Wow, it sounds like they were really just horrible to this kid. I don't know, and to be like really horrible about his performance is just bizarre to me as well. I just don't like how the prequels have better technology and the originals have okay technology, even though they're set in the future.
But it's the Empire, right? The Empire's taken over and society's regressed because it's an evil empire. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about making people's lives easier, so they have to use the technology from the prequels. That if you have like new technologies in the prequels, the original trilogy takes place like 30 years later, so that stuff would age 30 years. It wouldn't be new anymore. It'd be 30 years old. All the technology would be like older, so it makes sense.
To be fair to Vishal, this bothers me about Star Trek as well. Star Trek, you have like stuff set in the future, right? And then they do a prequel to it, and all the technology is better. Like you had that in the Star Trek, I think it was Enterprise or something like that, and that always bothered me as well. So I could kind of get where he's coming from with that. But and he makes obviously, when you've got new CGI, you've got new technology to build these worlds. You're going to make a world that more is in line with your actual vision. He was limited back then by the technology. So sorry, man.
So Vishal, he makes a comment. Luke Skywalker has the greatest character development of them all, along with Vader. And it's funny because the characters do mirror each other. Like Luke Skywalker, he starts out annoying and whiny, and he becomes noble and heroic. And Anakin starts out noble, heroic, kind of heart, and he becomes this whiny character that is complaining about everything. You'll see as the episodes go on, and I can't wait to see what your opinion is about his character arc and where it goes, because it's you're probably gonna like it. You might not.
Okay. So Luke, whiny, till you watch episode 2. All right.
He's talking about Anakin episode 2. I know it's
like father, like son.
It's very similar, yeah.
So I mean, all right, like basically, just to talk over like a few of the characters that I really enjoyed in this. Wait, sorry. Should we? Let me just watch the rest of this. Is anything more?
Has to complete 2 more steps. Yeah.
So at school though, you must get recognised. Has it helped you in the editing thing, or has it been a bit of a hindrance?
How do you mean?
Being the young Anakin.
That doesn't play into it at all.
So it doesn't. No one knows about it, or they don't care.
That's just the social environment that you're asking about.
It was obviously a big part of your life, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're not real happy about being asked about it.
No, I'm plenty happy being asked about it. It just seems that I'm just trying to ascertain the real meaning of your questions and make sure I give you the best interview possible.
And I also like being at events like this. Is it nice that you come halfway across the world and everyone loves you and recognises you?
yeah, it's nice. You come for the fans. That's what you're here for, is to meet people who take you into their home and enjoy what you did, or even if they didn't, they still want to come up and ask questions and sort things out for themselves, and that's what you're here for. It's awesome.
So yeah, he is not happy. He's not a happy camper. You can just tell. And I'm gonna research this for the next video, but like I'm curious about and what actually became of this kid. But yeah, not a happy camper. That's all we can say about that. Who the hell was Keira Knightley? Who was
she was the other queen. That was the stand-in one for Natalie Portman, right?
Oh shit!
Yeah, she had a lot of makeup on. Yeah,
I thought it was both Natalie Portman. I thought both people were playing, like Natalie Portman was playing both roles. Okay, interesting. Because I thought I was like, Natalie Portman's doing a really great performance because she's putting on the Queen voice, and then when she's pretending not to be the Queen, she's doing her own like voice. One thing that I noticed about this, I don't know if if this was something that is talked about a lot, is the dubbing over of the voices.
Which voices?
In certain parts of the film, it clearly they've dubbed over the voices. And I don't even know if it's the same actors anymore, or but they've dubbed over the voices, and the lips aren't moving with the voice.
What specific scene are you talking about? Because like I know they dubbed the aliens' voices for the Federation. I know they dubbed their voices.
It was a scene between Ewan McGregor and what the hell's his name? Qui-Jin. Where is he? Yeah. Oh, Liam Neeson. It was a scene between them two in the woods, and they're talking about whether Anakin should be trained or not.
I want to put it past that it was dubbed to some other line, probably. If you watch the behind the scenes documentary, they literally splice like completely different scenes together. It's pretty fascinating. Like they'll take a scene where a character's not in, and like the reshot scene will have the character in it, so they just splice it over the other existing scene, and yeah, it's pretty wild, the editing in the movie.
And I'll say that I really like the setup of that Qui-Jin dies. Obviously, that's the kind of mentor figure to Obi-Wan, and that Obi-Wan, who doesn't trust Anakin, is now going to be the one to train him. So I'm really looking forward to that relationship, since he clearly has like some lack of trust. He's just doing what the dying wish of his master.
Yeah, and you notice Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 4, he's really quick to try to, teach Luke and mentor Luke Skywalker. And Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 1, what's the first thing he says about Anakin? Why do I feel like we just added another useless life form to this, troop, whatever? He says that about Anakin, like the first thing about Anakin. So he's come from a place where he doesn't really want to train Anakin. He's just doing it out of respect for his master. So
why does he want to? Why does he want to train Luke, or is that a spoiler?
Obi-Wan, he wants to train Luke's, so he doesn't.
Is it a spoiler? Okay, all right. I get you.
That's why he keeps saying, that's why he doesn't want to tell Luke that Darth Vader's his father and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, standout characters for me that I'm looking forward to. I wasn't that big a fan of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor in this film. Maybe he gets better.
He's great.
He's
my favorite character. He's my favorite character of all time in these Star Wars movies. Especially Ewan McGregor. Yeah.
Okay. It's I like Natalie Portman in this. I thought she was really good. I thought it was really weird that obviously they're building up an attraction between her and this little boy. That was kind of weird. But yeah, it's film or whatever.
Yeah. And it's in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago.
Yeah. Jar Jar Binks, played by Ahmed Best. Interesting.
That's another sad story you could look up. That's another same thing happened to him. Really, his career kind of died after this movie. Yeah.
I was shocked to see Terrence Stamp, Zod himself, in this movie. I was like, that's cool. I hope he's going to do more in the future movies. I don't know, but like that was really cool to see. But yeah, basically, my main thing was I liked the little boy. Wasn't a big fan of Jar Jar Binks, but didn't bother me that much. I'm looking forward to see more Samuel L. Jackson. But yeah, Liam Neeson and the little boy were the standouts for me. Natalie Portman was also very good in it. So yeah, I'll go to the rest of the comments and then we can kind of leave it there. You need to get to.
Well, I want you to like see. I sent you. I hadn't sent you on later. There's this fan documentary called "The People versus George Lucas." Did you see it?
No, I will watch it though now.
I would definitely watch it after you see the prequels, but you could definitely watch it now after you've seen the first movie because they mainly talk about the Phantom Menace in it. Really, a lot of it. Look up the trailer for it. I think you're gonna be surprised.
Okay.
How these people.
All right. Well, I've got nothing to do this afternoon, so I'll watch it. I'll watch it after because I want to do these like every Sunday. So I'm not going to watch a next film until next week. And once I finish this, then I might do some another series of things like this of things I've never seen. I might do the what is it called? I always forget the Gareth Evans movie.
Oh, Rogue
Gareth
One.
Evans.
Yeah.
No, did he do Rogue One?
Yeah, Gareth Evans.
No,
Edward,
Gareth
right?
Evans.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's the one about it's the Asian movie about them going from into this building and they go up to it's the one that the Dredd apparently ripped off. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
I'll do it after I do these comments. So I think the prequels have a lot of problems, but Lucas knew that. And as you see episode 3, you can see Lucas learned from his problems and did his best to make the episode 3 better.
Oh yeah, because the fans were shouting about Jar Jar Binks like crazy after the first episode. How much they hated Jar Jar Binks.
But it's just like, dude, it's just a character. The whole film is good, though. I mean, it's got a great story. There's no plot holes, It's not like it's riddled with plot holes, and it's pretty tight movie, Episode 3 still has a lot of problems, but it infinitely better than 1 and 2. Okay, interesting. I love Yoda so much. Oh yeah, I loved Yoda. I finally get why people like Yoda after this movie. Because I loved him. I thought he was cool. I thought he was really like. I like the way he speaks. He was just He's played by the Muppets guy, right?
Yeah. That's right. You don't see Yoda in the original trilogy till episode 5. That's right. I forget. Yes, this is the first time you saw Yoda. Was episode 1?
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Over the movies, you will see Luke change and grow. It's one of the best characters in Star Wars. I hope so, because I don't like Luke at the moment. I honestly, genuinely, after watching The New Hope, I don't like Luke. We'll see. Baby Yoda is the top 3 characters of all time. He has amazing character development as a hero. Interesting. So that's that's from the Mandalorian, basically. So I'm going to watch a couple of episodes in this series as well. So first time watching The Mandalorian, I'll do that just before The Empire Strikes Back. Or do you think that's a bad order?
What? The Mandalorian? Yeah, don't watch Mandalorian. Don't watch Rogue One until you've seen the first 6 movies, episode 1 through 6. You got to get the foundation, and then you can go watch the stuff that surrounds it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I heard Jar Jar actor almost committed suicide. Oh God, Jesus Christ, terrible. The bullying, the bullying was so bad, and then Vishal, it ruined his career. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And,
I knew he was trolling. I knew he was trolling. Baby Yoda. The character doesn't even speak.
Oh,
Oh,
right. He's trolling. All right. So I wouldn't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I thought he was being for real because I've heard everyone loves Baby Yoda apparently.
yeah, because he's a cute little like toy. He's a cute little toy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like the cat from Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
everyone was going on about.
Much better. Yeah, much better than that. I remember that fucking cat.
Okay, so the Raid is the film. So I'm going to do the Raid films next. I've never watched them before, so I'm going to do this as my next never seen before. So yeah, apart from that, I don't really have much more to say by way of like my experience of this. I feel like I finally got the Force. I understand what it's about now, and this has made me a fan. Basically, this film, the last one, if I had only watched that one and wasn't doing the series, I wouldn't have watched the rest of Star Wars. This one, I'm like, all right, I want to see this prequel series, see where it goes. So,
oh yeah.
Best, my favorite Star up until now, we've got one. So if I'm ranking them, it's going to be one. This Star Wars Phantom Menace. At the moment, without remembering it, I'm going to put Force Awakens second, and then I'm going to go New Hope. So I don't remember it very clearly, so don't judge me on it so far. I wasn't a fan of that movie. I just was like, oh, it's okay. New Hope, I think it was like George Lucas was just getting his feet basically with that film. It doesn't seem like the full kind of picture. The characters are a little bit cardboard cut out as well. Yeah. It's like evil guy, roguish hero, more
that's another documentary.
It's not
another documentary you gotta watch about New Hope. That's another one. That's because a lot of shit George Lucas had to do to get that movie made. Lots. Yeah, I would admit, like episode 4, I wouldn't say it's written very well. I think the dialogue's pretty bland in that movie too. Like if you just read it, it doesn't seem like it's that good. But it's just the character performances, I think, bring it up a little bit.
I can understand the nostalgia of it. Oh, and I do remember what I was going to say now. I remember specifically, it was about Star Wars, so the Phantom Menace and the time that it came out. There were so many more good films. And I remember that a lot of good films in the 90s, especially action movies, got worse, ratings by critics because critics were against action movies. Action movies were to critics at that time what comic book movies are to critics today, right? So they didn't.
Siskel and Ebert, I think they gave it a thumbs up. Phantom Menace, if I remember.
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert were always great. You could always rely on Siskel and Ebert, but I was talking about most other bloody hell film critics at that time. Like Independence Day got like a bad score, and you're like, that's a great movie. I don't know if do you like Independence Day?
Yeah, it's a solid movie. I would say episode 1 is better than that movie, though. Like as far as story goes, saying like Independence Day is a fun movie,
I mean, I like the genre more of Independence Day, so maybe like the disaster movie. So I'd probably be a bit how would you say, like biased when it comes to that. But I like this movie a lot. I think it should have been a classic, really. People should look back at it as a classic, is what I mean. But in general, I was just saying that critics gave a lot of a harder time to action movies, the same way they do with horror movies. It's like a horror movie virtually has to be a masterpiece for it to get a good score, and it can't have any gore, it can't have any, and it's like, wait a second,
titties, nothing. It's so ridiculous.
If you're gonna criticize these films, criticize it from the point of view of somebody who likes the films. Don't criticize it from the point of view, if you don't like the film, just like those films in general. If you've got a thing against the genre in general, just don't go and watch it, because your criticism isn't worth, anything, because people who do like those movies, you're putting them off going to see it, right? When actually it's a good movie for that genre, right? So that's my kind of thing, is like, I feel like they and the thing about that time is actually the independent movie scene was amazing. So you had the Pulp Fictions, you had the like loads and loads of like the Woody Allen movies, all of the great kind of independent movies of that time. So in a way, once you've watched like really good movies like that, and then you come and watch a movie like this, you're probably in the wrong headspace as a film lover to give this a fair judgment. So I think that's kind of what was happening at that point, because this is better than every Marvel movie I've seen, MCU anyway. In my opinion, I'm sorry.
I agree.
I'm sorry, and the critics love that shit. They eat it up like I don't know. So that's my kind of take on this one. What any final words on it?
I mean, I'm surprised you liked it so much. I'm surprised the internet didn't get to you on this, because a lot of people would see like the threads of people trashing this movie and just go with it. You know what I'm saying? Like without even like looking at the movie as like its own thing. Yeah, I mean that toxicity hate that the fans made against this movie changed a lot of things about like the prequels going forward and stuff like that. And it's kind of sucks. I'll tell you later about the stuff that would have been after you watch the movies, because I don't want to ruin anything with you. Just watch it. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to leave it there then, man. Thanks again, Lantern Man. It's always a pleasure talking to you and getting your like expertise and knowledge on the Star Wars. I hope you can join me for at least a few more of these, if not all of them. I'd love to have you on them. Yeah. It was great. And what was I going to say? Please subscribe for more content. Do comment. Spectre Entertainment has his own channel. It's really great. It's bigger than mine anyway, so he doesn't need my help. But if you do watch this, please do go over to Spectre Entertainment. Do subscribe. Check out some of his stuff as well. And apart from that, what was it? Comment, subscribe. There's always something I forget. Give me a high five. Smash that like button. Help me with the algorithm there.
Send some hate mail. Send
some hate mail. Tell me how trash my opinions are. That I'm completely wrong on this. That these prequels are like a bastardization of George Lucas's vision, even though it's George Lucas's movie and he directed it and came up with the concept. So give me all the hate you want. I like this movie and I like the kid in the movie. All right, so that's me. Guys, I'm going to see you on the flip side. Love you 3000. Peace.